Hey, hello everybody. And they said it wouldn't last. Welcome to episode 2 of Fast Break here on Livestream STL. I'm your host, Lee Richardson, and tonight we're just going to dive into more of the local hoop scene, what we cover here at Livestream STL. That could be anything from Jeffco, which is kind of our normal base, up to St. Louis. And we're excited to talk to a coach from kind of South City, down to the Mineral area, and everything in between, and then some. So we're really glad that you joined us tonight. And I also want to welcome, first of all, my partner here on my left. You're right on your screen, Scott, the Freak of Speak Lado. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Well, thank you, Professor. It's chilly outside, but it's nice and warm here at the Oakville Sports Pub. So if you're in the area, drop on by.
Absolutely. And, of course, can't forget the man behind the curtain, Mr. Livestream himself, Ray Halbrook.
Don't mind the man behind the curtain. I'm not doing anything here,
Don't let him fool you.
There you have it.
Well, and I know that tonight everybody wants to attend the big retirement party being held in Kansas City for Ben Roethlisberger, okay? But we have good news for you. First of all, you could just record it and, pick it up. We're going to be about an hour, okay? A lot of good hoop stuff here in the next hour. Can't wait to bring it to you. But if you can't wait that long, we'll have it on behind us as well. So don't get too distracted. But, yeah, we're glad to have everybody here, and we got a great show for you. We got trivia, we got giveaways, we got, all kinds of stuff. Oh, a special new feature called the Hoops Whisperer.
Here we go.
And you don't want to miss that one, all right? But that'll be at the end, the last 10 minutes. Before that, we're going to be talking boys basketball first in this show. We'll be talking boys basketball first. We have so glad to have Coach Darian Head from Bishop DeBerg here to talk with us tonight. Of course, we're picking a player of the week just like we did last week, and so stay tuned for that. We didn't tease that this week, Ray, did we?
No, we didn't.
All right, so you got to stick around to find out who we chose, and we have a lot of great candidates. It's really hard to pick, but I think we selected a really good one. Then we'll talk girls basketball and their player of the week, and what a dynamic player we have chosen there. And then we get to talk to Coach Riley Blair, putting him in the hot seat from Herculaneum High School, coming off a big win Friday night at St. Pius. And then that last part, quick hitters. It's going to be fast and furious. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there. So, with that being said, are you ready to go, partner?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to fast break, and we're going to start with boys basketball. The break. Boys basketball, Ray.
Yes.
You said boys first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we go.
I had this backwards. Here we are. Oop.
We just went over this yesterday.
My apologies. Here we go.
All right, the break, boys basketball. There we go. We're going to talk JCA, large and small, or small and large, I think is the correct order as I look at the screen there. And then we're going to talk some Bruce Thomas tournament. Herculaneum holds a tournament every year, late January, and the seedings for that just came out tonight. We got a nice mix of schools in that one from all over the area up to the city. And then the Cavaliers march south. This is not about the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's about the Bishop DeBerg Cavaliers and a big game that they had last week. And then, of course, our player of the week and Coach Darian Head in that hot seat. So, with that being said, the timer has started, Scott.
Okay.
Let's go. JCA, small and large. So, here's the update on the race and where we stand in the JCA. And, of course, we cover a lot of things and we want to expand what we're covering. But as many of you know, we are largely based out of Jefferson County, the JCA schools. So, we like to give them a lot of coverage and promote them a little bit. But in the small, of course, there was a really big game on Friday night. We were there to cover it. And St. Pius pulled out a nice comeback win over the Herculaneum Black Cats, who have been pretty tough this year so far.
If you had tuned out after that first 8 minutes, you were probably shocked.
Maybe, because at the end of the first quarter, the score was 14-3, not the team that won.
That is correct. And after that, it was just an onslaught.
Yeah, St. Pius.
They rubled over the Black Cats.
They rubled over them, yeah, and turned the early game plan into rubble, if you will.
Oh, I like that.
Or into ruble. I'm not sure which works better there.
I'm not sure what the conversion rate is, but we'll go with that.
He's talking about senior Nate Rubel for St. Pius, who just looked really inspired. He had a lot of points. He hit all his free throws, grabbed a lot of rebounds, toughness, steals, all that stuff, and just really seemed to inspire his teammates. But the game changer, at least offensively, in the second quarter, Coach Miller brings in John Whitman, a sophomore JV player.
You think his nickname's Slim?
John Slim Whitman? Well, he is slim, but that mid-range jumper is silky smooth.
I know his Uncle Walt's got some great poetry.
Uncle Walt, okay. Well, we'll double check on that one. John Whitman, the sophomore, did tell me that he has some older brothers who play college basketball, and I'm asking him, how did you get this shot? And he's just like, I don't know, I just shoot. He doesn't think about it too much, which is probably great, but he has practiced a lot as well. But that really turned the tide of the game there. So St. Pius boys now have a 3-0 record in JCA Small. If we can get the records back up real quick, Ray, again. Sure. And kind of, it's theirs to lose at this point. St. Vincent is 1-0. They had beaten Crystal City. Big game in a few weeks, of course. St. Pius will have to go to St. Vincent. If St. Vincent can continue to win, that could be a potentially really big matchup. St. Pius has not played Jefferson yet, who hasn't played an official conference game yet. Crystal City at 1-2, big win Friday night over
and
Grandview.
Grandview only 2.5 games back.
Only 2.5 games back. That's the way to put a positive spin on it, buddy. But anyway, so there's kind of the small update. Now we're going to move over to the large side of things. Another really big game Friday night, Festus defeated Hillsboro on the road, 64-53. And so here's what's different about the small and the large. You can see Festus has the lead at 4-0. Hillsboro is 2 games back, and so on and so forth. But they play 2 games. They play a home and away, so they play an 8-game league schedule in the JCA large. So this is not quite over yet. Obviously Festus a 2-game lead. They got that on lock right now. But
so if they would double them up, and they would get the tiebreaker, correct?
If they would tie them up?
Yeah.
No, I think they would co-champion it.
Okay.
If they tie. But, Festus staying hot. They're up to, I think, 11-3 now. As you saw, 4-0 in conference. Thank you, Ray. Hillsboro's had a great year, and they've been hot. But late in that game, Festus pulled away and got a lot of timely plays from their guys. They're playing really well. And they have a huge game on deck Tuesday night versus Miller Career at home. Miller Careers received votes in Class 4, so that's going to be a nice test for Festus.
Will that one be broadcast anywhere?
Maybe on live stream STL. We'll see if we can pull that one off.
That would be great.
Let's do it.
Double check that.
So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do a quick hot seat, and then we'll move on to our next topic.
Okay.
Scott, Ray, I'll ask you the easy one.
Okay.
JCA large boys, who wins the conference? Just a prediction.
It's between. You said it's large or small? I'm sorry.
Large.
Oh, it's Festus.
Okay. All right. They have a 2-game lead right now. That's safe.
It is.
Now, a little trickier maybe. Scott, who will win the JCA small boys? Hot seat. Go.
I got to go with the leader right now.
Pius?
Pius.
Say
I got to go with the
Pius.
Lancers.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Start out 3-0. I mean, that's a great, you're in the catbird seat.
All right. Not too tough there tonight, guys, but we're going to move on. So, Scott, I hear there's a nice local tournament happening in Jefferson County here in a couple of weeks.
I'm not sure where you heard it, but that's great information, especially we call it the Bruce Thomas Tournament. Goes on like the last week of January. And, Ray, could we see the listing for the tournament?
There's your teams. And the actual seedings just came out. However, I'm not able to get it onto the graphics right away because it just came out.
I got you.
Go right ahead.
Gateway Legacy 1. Who do we say 2, Scott? I thought it might be Windsor, but
you thought it might be Windsor, but
St. Pius.
Was it the Lancers?
Same as Pius, and
St.
then
Pius is number
Windsor.
2,
and then it was Windsor.
Then it was Windsor.
Herculaneum 4.
It is.
Northwest 5.
And then
Correct.
other teams.
And then the 3 other teams, including Grandview, are your alma mater.
An at-large team.
They got the 7. They are not in the bottom of that tournament. The 8
St.
seed.
Louis Patriots 6.
There you go.
Grandview 7, and Hancock 8. So there you go.
All right. So what are we looking for? I know we broadcast it every year.
So what are we looking for?
Yeah. Do you remember what happened last year?
I remember one game in particular that was very noteworthy. Northwest, I believe that was against Gateway Legacy.
Yep.
What was the final in that game, like 19 to like 17 or something?
It was low, but halftime it was like 4-2.
It was.
Yeah.
And I think Northwest actually had a chance to take the lead with a 3-point attempt right before the buzzer.
Right.
But crazy game, and a lot of people were up in arms over it, but I thought it was a great game. You always talk about tempo, Coach. You're like, hey, you don't want to get in an up and down game with these guys. Northwest did not get an up and down game with them at all.
Nope, and
They
Gateway
barely
Legacy,
got up.
Legacy sat back in the zone and kind of let them do it for a long time. But that was a very interesting game. I know that raised a lot of howls about a shot clock in high school as well. Anytime you have a stall game like that, but that was interesting. very good field this year, very diverse field this year, and we're excited to cover that. That's not this week, but that's the week after. And, of course, we don't have a show for another 2 weeks, so we just want to bring that to your attention. It should be some good basketball over at Herculaneum on the boys' side here in a couple weeks. And so moving on, we got to talk about the Cavaliers marching south.
Do we have like one of those things with the marching noise?
We're adding more sounding graphics every week, Scott. But Bishop DeBerg Cavaliers. Yeah, they're marching south right there.
Fast.
There you go. All right. So Bishop DeBerg, who, okay, we're going to talk to their coach in a minute, but look what they did on Monday, January 10th. Big win on the road at Farmington. And Lamont Shaw, he's a 6'7" guard, averaged 20 points. And look at his averages. Lamont Shaw, he's averaging 17 and 7, basically, 3 assists. We saw him only for a very short time in that one game we broadcast. We'll say why here in a minute. What talent this kid has, but also their big post player, Dampier Evans. He had a big game. Eddie Weekly, their senior point guard. That's a really nice win at a huge Class 6 Farmington school for Bishop DeBerg, who's just Class 3.
And that's definitely a building block and something they can refer back to later in the season.
Yeah, unfortunately, and we'll talk to Coach Head about this in a minute. They didn't follow that up with the effort he wanted on Friday night when they played Duchesne, who's a fine team up here. But that was a really nice win on their resume as they prepare for positioning in districts, which we will definitely also talk about with him. All right, moving on, Scott. It's that time.
Pow.
Our second ever POW boys.
Yeah.
Fast break player
I feel
of the
just
week.
like old-time Batman here. Pow, pow. But anyway, so we are at that segment, player of the week for boys, and it's not really any surprise. We're going to reference a player. Oh, I love that sound. That harpish music gets me in the mood to talk about Cole Rickerman. Cole Rickerman for the 11-3 Festus Tigers scored 21 points in a win on January the 10th versus St. Clair. 75-39 if you're scoring at home. And then another 21 points on January the 14th in a win versus Hillsborough. And get this average, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal for the season. That's what he's averaging per game.
Yep. Cole's had a fine season.
That kid can play.
He's always been a three-point shooter, but he's added a serious level of leadership. His first thing I'm going to say is usually the last thing you think of, but his defense as well.
How long is he? He's a senior this year, correct?
He is a senior.
It seems like he's been there forever.
It does, because he started since he was a freshman. But Cole was really close to getting the award last show, and we're not giving it to him just because, you were second and give him the next one kind of thing. He really earned that with those consistent performances. But, again, the job he's doing on the defensive end, and all the other guys are feeding into that. In Festus, people just are sleeping on him a little bit, I think. It's turned into a elite defensive team for all the noise about their three-point shooting. And Armand Branch, let's not forget him at the point guard
Sleeping
spot.
on him. That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
That is a bold strategy. I don't get the Cotton reference, but
you haven't seen Step Brothers?
Yeah, I have actually.
All right, have you seen Dodgeball?
We'll shake and bake later. No,
okay.
No, I've avoided Dodgeball.
Okay, we'll circle back to that.
Entire movie watching career.
But now we have to get to our esteemed guest.
Oh man, and we are super excited. And in our first 10 minutes run out, we're going to put another 10 minutes on there.
We are.
But if we get to the end of this 10 minutes, we're going to keep on talking, because I'm really excited to welcome Coach Darian Head of Bishop DeBerg to our second ever episode of Fast Break. And I want to set this up by just telling you this. First of all, he's first-year head coach at Bishop DeBerg, but he's got lots of coaching experience on the AAU trail with Gateway program. And we've seen Coach Head coach, at least I have, in our broadcast. We went over to a broadcast, 8 minutes and 36 seconds. That's it. That's the extent of time that I've seen this young man coach. And I'm going to tell you what, a very unfortunate injury happened, and they had to postpone that game. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, too, here in a minute. I came away very, very impressed. And I said, Ray, we have to get Coach Head on our show and talk to him. So very, very excited to have you. Coach Head, welcome to Fast Break.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate being here.
Absolutely. And I'm going to get right to it, Coach. We already talked about your win at Farmington. We called that segment the Cavaliers March South, and Ray had some little marching music or whatever it was. But it was pretty cool. And there it is. There's the marching music. The Cavaliers are marching south. So But that's a big win at a Class 6 school.
Right.
And so your week this week consisted of that, and then a game I'll let you talk about from Friday night. But your big three, you have the big three of Shaw, Evans, Weekly, came up big for you in that game. They would have had to get that win, at a school like Farmington. But tell us kind of, where your season's at and how you're enjoying your first year as a head coach.
First year's been a little difficult. Some ups and downs. We're 4-6 right now, but we've lost to some bigger schools, which I know early in the season was going to be tough for us. But we want to challenge ourselves, especially for the later part of the season as we get ready for district. So,
Go ahead.
Lost a tough one to Belleville East early. Lost a bad one to a really good Westminster team, as well to O'Fallon, Illinois. But for the most part, we're competitive. We're getting better each game. And like I say, it's just a matter of getting ready for February and getting ready for districts.
And I love coaches that make their schedule tougher appropriately. I mean, you don't want to get yourself buried every night. But preparing, it's not about the win-loss record. It's about, what you achieve in the postseason. So I appreciate that. But how are you enjoying your first year as coach?
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. We do have some really good players. You spoke of Shaw. You spoke of Dampier Evans. You spoke of Eddie Weekly. We now have Jalen Davis, who was a transfer from Gateway Science Tech. He's going to be really big for us down the stretch. He's been really good in the games he's been able to play now. Like against Farmington, all of our starters scored in double figures. He had, I think, 12 or 14 the other night in the loss to Duchesne.
Wow.
And most of them came early. I think he was 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 from 3. So he can shoot it. He can stretch the floor. He's a slasher that's going to be able to help us as well. So, and then Christian Newcomb, another senior that we have who can shoot it as well.
Right.
So, we just need those guys to continue to get better. Got to keep growing our cohesiveness as a group. And probably the biggest thing right now is we've kind of been behind the 8 ball because we missed out on our holiday tournament where a lot of teams, really start to get better and figure out who they are.
Right.
So we'll continue to prepare and get better one game at a time.
And that's great. You have some shooters developing. Can't have enough of those.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Scott has a couple questions for you, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Like I said, we only got to see for a quarter and then into that first minute, unfortunately, of the second quarter. If you could just kind of talk about the injury as it happened to that Hazelwood East player, and then talk about, you showed a lot of compassion, not only, to a kid who was hurt, but he wasn't even your own player. And we just found that just completely genuine, and that was just an awesome moment.
Well, the biggest thing is at the end of the day, it's a game. It was unfortunate we didn't get to finish the game. But for me, it's about the kids, and watching that young man be injured right in front of us. Like, you want to make sure that he's okay at the end of the day. It was very unfortunate. He lost the ball. We ended up with it, and he kind of stumbled, and just the way that he fell, you could tell he was going to be hurt. As he kind of writhed in pain in front of us, we, both sides came together just to make sure he was going to be all right and to comfort him in that moment, until EMS got there and got him the help that was needed.
That was awesome to see. And, 5 years from now, no one's probably really going to remember the exact details of what happened, but that player is probably going to remember that incident, you comforting him, because, most of us have had some sort of painful injury. And, to be in front of everyone like that and then to have someone, a competitor come over and, console, that was a great humanitarian thing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we talked about your schedule, your tough schedule a little bit, Coach, but I want to go back to that game because it's the only time I've seen you coach. And, probably, it's your first year. So, our first exposure to you. But I want to get a little technical on the coaching side of things.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I saw in 8 minutes and 36 seconds because as a former coach, I notice these things and I'm like, man, I really like that, or man, I don't know about that. We just have a tendency to kind of do that we like to steal lots of things too from other coaches. And I'm going to share something later in the program that I stole from a coach about 10 years ago. That later. But what I want to talk to you about is the adjustments I saw from you. Before the game even started, you came up to our booth and said, these guys aren't starting. And I'm not going to ask you why you made that decision, But immediately I was like, I think, he's trying to send a message, but the bottom line is he's not afraid to make a change here right at the end, if that's what he feels like he needs to do for his team, not just start his 3 best players. And you don't have to tell us why you did that, but that caught my eye. I want you to know that. You called 2 timeouts in the first 4 minutes of that game. And again, I said to myself, here's a coach who might be a little bit of the favorite in this game. Yeah, you could lose to Hazelwood East. They got a fine team as well. But you were like, I don't care about having these timeouts later. We're going to make that adjustment now. I'm seeing something I don't like. And off of that second timeout, y'all came up and changed up your defense, threw a trap at him, and got a turnover. And right away, I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I don't care if you're a rookie head coach. I also know you do have some background with Gateway and the AAU programs. I guess what I'm asking you is, I've seen 2 types of coaches in AAU. One that just collects talent and just puts them out there. And then the other ones who, yeah, they have talent or they don't have talent, but they're always learning, always absorbing, trying to master their craft to get better for a day in the future. What has led you to this point to kind of shape you as a coach so far?
The biggest thing is character. That's one of the biggest things that I try and pride myself on. And the other thing is a matter of paying it forward. There were guys that took their time with me that taught me life lessons through the game of basketball, and that's what I'm trying to preach and pass on to all the kids that I coach, regardless if it's at the high school level right now or if it's at the AAU level. Like, these are lessons that are going to follow you throughout life. So when I didn't start the young men, in the game against Hazelwood East, it was a matter of teaching them a life lesson. And even in practice, that's what we go back and we talk about is life lessons that come from this that are going to affect you later on. So in regards to the timeouts and the adjustments, you have to get your kids to be disciplined and they have to follow the game plan and the structure of what you're asking them to do. So I can sacrifice those timeouts early, make those adjustments early. Hopefully it benefits us later on in the game. Definitely.
Very, very impressive to me. And, as coaches, you don't always know exactly what the right decision is, and you're going to make mistakes like anybody else. That showed me that you're on the right track there with kind of the way you think about coaching, from just not the X's and O's side of things, but also the character side of things. Really appreciate that, Coach. All right, Scott.
All right, Coach Ed. Carnahan game coming up. Thoughts?
It's a big one because it's a district opponent. We have to – you don't want to say it. You have to get that game, but you have to get that game because getting that number 1 seed in districts is important so that hopefully you end up with the bye, and that's one less game that you have to play in districts.
Any special preparation and practice?
Get after it on the defensive end.
Focus.
We got to get after it on the defensive end. So, good defense leads to easy offense. That's the way that I look at it.
We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, and so we're going to be there. We're excited to broadcast your big game with Carnahan on Wednesday evening at Bishop DeBerg. And, so going back to your district then, Carnahan's in it. We also have teams that we cover a little bit more sometimes. St. Pius and Jefferson are in that. Ray, do we have C3, D4 to bring up real quick? And so it's a 7-team district. So here's the importance of it. Yeah, right there in front of us. Nope, that's girls.
Wrong one,
Ray.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Very sorry. I've got everything backwards this week. Sorry.
Well, there's your schedule. So we've talked about that. And, yeah, D4, C3, D4. So going through here, you're at the top just alphabetically, but, you're trying to position for a 1 seed. Yeah, again, we're not going to worry about the noises and buzzers and everything. We'll keep talking as long as we need to. But, the 1 seed gets a bye. But you got Carnahan and St. Pius for sure, who are building, I think, also number 1 seed types of resumes. Jefferson is tough and getting better as the year goes on. And a team like McKinley you can't write off either. And so that's a tough district in Class 3. What are you just thinking about your positioning? I know we're a month away from the seed meeting and all that. What do you think about your positioning in District 4?
I think we're in a good position. And like we just talked about, though, this game against Carnahan is big because I think that's going to be indicative of who gets that number 1 seed. Like right now, I think it will be between us, Carnahan, and St. Pius, who are all vying to get that top spot, to have that bye, to play that one less game. So the fortunate thing for us that I actually don't like, though, is we host districts at home.
You mentioned that before we started, yeah.
So it's good that we get to host districts, but like I say, I hate playing home games just because of how our kids sometimes play in front of their peers. But it'll also be good, though, to have, familiar territory for us.
Do you have a special section for your cheering people? You could move them over to the visitor side.
Yeah, that may work.
Yeah.
Good idea, Scotty. Yeah, well, so that made it all worth coming on the show tonight, Coach, to get that little tip from Scott. But, that game, so then that's a great test for them Wednesday night at home against a legit opponent in Carnahan to kind of maybe try to get over that hump. And, Coach Head, I can't thank you enough for coming down here to Oakville Sports Pub and being with us tonight. And, again, I think you're a rising rock star in the coaching ranks. So
thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you all for having me, and I'll see you all Wednesday.
We're going to see you Wednesday. That is Coach Darian Head of Bishop DeBerg boys basketball, the Cavaliers on the march this season. All right, we are done with the break boys basketball and our hot seat boys basketball. We will be back in just a couple minutes and go to the girls' side of things. You are watching Fast Break on Livestream STL. Be right back.
Brought to you by Missouri Mavericks Basketball, a youth travel organization that provides a platform to develop, connect, and succeed. Tryouts for the 2022 teams are coming soon. Visit www.momavs.org to register online. Missouri Mavericks Basketball, the gold standard in travel hoops.
I do this for the love of the kids. I do it for the love of the coaches and the ADs because there's not enough high school coverage in the St. Louis area. There's just not. Once again, I get to keep my relationships with, guys like you and a lot of the other great coaches and administrators and former athletes. And that's one of the cool things that we're going to do here, too, is, I've been fortunate covering some great coaches and great kids, but, the caravan is, I wasn't letting it die. And sure enough, we're here now, and the reboot is in full effect.
This live stream STL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on live stream STL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
We appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids. And get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off, we're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's presentation. Take advantage of the HD experience here with Livestream STL by going to the Tkds Sports Network app. Download the app and subscribe by going to videos.tkdsports.com. That'll get you access onto our TKDS Sports app, Roku, and Fire Stick. And thanks so much for your support of Livestream STL.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Coachonomics 101. I'm your professor, Lee Richardson. Each week on our new show, Fast Break on Livestream STL, we will dive into the most important coaching questions and topics of our time. English. Who do I start? Or is it whom do I start? Mathematics. Why is our team shooting just 30% from the field for the year? Philosophy. What is our purpose on defense? To play zone or man-to-man? The arts. How do you, at the end of a 30-second timeout, get your coaching board to look like this? So I do hope you will join us as we talk basketball education on fast break and cover all aspects of high school basketball in our area. Tuition is free and the learning is remote. Thank you, and I'll see you in class. We're back on Fast Break. Welcome back. We just finished up talking in our boys segment, talking to Coach Darian Head at Bishop DuBourg, and now we're going to dive into the girls' side of local basketball here in Leicester, MSTL. But I gotta ask one thing, Ray. Where's makeup? Because, you know, some people went snowblind yesterday, and I think after that commercial, some people are going to go ball blind. So let's get makeup on this thing next time.
We'll work on that. Anybody out there that would like to help us with makeup, that would be great. You know, so we have a very small budget for it, but we could try to make it work.
All right. Okay. Just had to say that. Other than that, had fun making that commercial and Coachonomics, given that nickname by my buddy here, Scott the Freak Latta.
And Coach Chardson.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Coach
There we
go.
There we go. All right, we got the whole thing in there. All right, so anyway, yeah, I'm going to ask you on a future broadcast, not tonight, why they call you the Freak. I'm not sure I want to know, but we'll get into that later, Scott.
We do have that 2-second delay, right?
Yeah, but that's not enough to bleep out any bleeps.
Never know. Never know. Again, the Ben Roethlisberger retirement party is on
right behind
me.
you, yeah.
So, you can stay tuned right there. We got about a half-hour show left, and, we've had a great start so far. We got more good stuff for you. But here it comes, the break. Girls basketball. We're going to give you, this is so exciting, Scott, the first ever live stream STL top 10.
Oof.
Okay, and I got to just throw this out there.
A lot of pressure.
This is
the
top 10 teams we've seen so far this year. Do polls really matter? I mean, no, it's just the teams that have kind of made that impression on us so far. We're going to recap the Lutheran South tournament that we covered very extensively about a week ago. We'll go through the Jca Standings just like we did on the boys' side. We'll pick a player of the week. Wow, is all I got to say for our pal.
I like that.
Our player of the week is an unbelievable candidate. And then we're putting Coach Riley Blair of Herculaneum Lady Blackcats in the hot seat. Can't wait to talk to Coach Blair, too.
And he's got some big shoes to fill. Our first guest was killing it.
Yeah, Coach had loved talking to him. But we are ready now to move to the break girls basketball. This is it, the live stream STL top 10, first ever. Ray, take it away.
Here we go.
Oh, wow.
And we are going to begin with the honorable mention because we had so many that we covered. Our first honorable mention is Notre Dame High School.
At 7-5, their top scorer, Josie Allen. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Lily Weber. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, you gave it away. Sharp viewers will know what's next. But let's talk about Notre Dame. We saw them play Herculaneum early in the season. Herculaneum, that game flipped. They had a lead at halftime, and then here comes Notre Dame behind Teresa Laramie. They have a fine team. And Herculaneum beat Pius Friday night. They were in the running for this as well, but had that was kind of the defining line between them and Notre Dame, giving them an honorable mention shout-out. All right, Scott, now you can give it away. Number 10.
Number 10 for the Festus Tigers, 12-4, led by Josie Allen, averaging 17.6 points a game.
And we saw them the other night, Thursday night, I believe, and they took care of business in a big win over Hillsboro as they have that. They are actually a game behind in the conference versus Perryville, and they meet this Thursday night. So preview of a big game coming up on Livestream STL. All right.
Should be a slobber knocker. All right, what do we got? We got number 9, West County Lee.
9, West County. I saw them early in the year. They lost an overtime game to Sykeston, and they've got a nice team. They got a real nice point guard in Liv Simile. They have a nice power forward in Madison Hedgecourt. They have a shooter. I believe her name is Claire LeBrier, and only time I think we've seen them this year, but they're a tough team, and they will be a tough out in their district at the end of the season.
All right, rolling up to number 8, Sykeston. Again, all I have is early in the season. Allen was averaging, 30 points a game, Ray?
Correct.
I don't have any updated stats since then.
Well, she is a Division I signee to, I think, SIUE. Is that it?
I believe you're correct.
Final answer.
I'm going to go
Would
with
you like to phone a friend?
SIUE, but
Okay.
if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And let us know. Feel free to comment and let us know. But she had a great game that day and is an impressive Division I girls basketball player.
All right. Are we up to number 7?
We are.
Number 7, Lutheran South.
The fighting Ben Elix. Yes.
Yes. 6 and 7 right now, led by Ellie Busher.
Sophomore.
Correct.
Yep.
They are 6 and 7, but they got 10 games left, so a lot can change.
Seco, Eggerding. I mean, you know the names, and we've seen them a lot this year. And you know, they're younger, a little younger this year, but they're kind of improving slowly by bits as the season goes on.
But they got a great coach, so sometimes that's all you need. Moving up to number 6, we got Washington. I show them at 7 and 6, led by Elizabeth Reed.
Yeah, and she made the all-tournament team over there at Luso, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I did not get to see them. You guys covered them on Saturday, but they pulled off that overtime win over Lutheran South.
Impressive win, yes, absolutely.
All right, number 5, North County. Lee?
That North County, if you'll remember, Scott, defeated Lutheran South in the championship game of the Herculaneum Ladies Tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And that last second buzzer beating layup by Paris Larkin. They have a really nice point guard. And, of course, they have Cameron Winch in the middle as well. They are a very tough team out of the middle area, and they are 5. So, like I said, we're kind of, Jeff Coe has kind of been the base, but we're expanding our network a little bit more and more. And North County, very impressive girls team. And I'm going to stop us right here about halfway through and just say, this ought to tell you kind of the depth of girls basketball we're seeing this year when North County's the 5.
There you go.
Well said. Number 4, MICDS. Currently sitting at 9 and 3, led by Binta Fall. Me and Ray got to see this game. I believe they were playing Lutheran South, and it was
correct.
From start to finish. They just smothered Lutheran South, and very impressive to watch.
Played a very good game. They sure did.
All right.
Number 3, Farmington. Lee.
Oh, we saw Farmington early in the year play Vashon. Vashon coming off a Final Four appearance and just crushed everybody last year. And Farmington just took them apart. And Vashon's still a pretty good team with some pretty good players. Farmington, the collection of size, speed, shooting,
coaching,
and yes, very good coach in Sanskra. But they have a forward on their team. I think she's a junior named Jade Roth. She's like 5'11" and just has all the tools. I was very impressed by her the day we saw them.
Ooh, we're getting close to the top here. Number 2. Could it be Fort Zumwalt West checking in at 10 and 5? They have 11 games left. They are led in scoring by Ivy Leslie, who averages 12.9 points a game.
Lost the championship game there at the Luso tournament about a week and a half ago, and had a really good run to that, and then just ran into a buzzsaw in the championship. And not to give it away.
Not to give it away, but Fort Zumwalt lost that game, but did follow up by beating Holt in a big game. And then so that brings us to our number 1 team, Webster Groves, checking in at 9 and 2. That is correct. 9 and 2, led by Eliza Maupin, who averages about 13.7 points a game. Not to be outdone, Ellie Palasek averages 14 points a game.
Palusek is their leading scorer and a great player in her own right. Made All-State last year as a junior. Maupin I don't think made All-State last year, but wow, what an athlete, what a finisher.
1-2 punch right there.
Unstoppable transition. We haven't even mentioned Sophia Nittinger, their post player, who's such a great player as well. Jenna Clark, the shooter, on and on and on. Coach Spool has a really, really good team. They have lost a couple games to other state title contenders. That's all they've lost to is Whitfield and I think Westminster. Yeah, there you go. So watch out for Webster Groves as the season goes on, the postseason. And hey, that is our live stream STL top 10, first ever. Really glad to bring it to you. And this could change. We'll
that's
update.
Fluid. It'll move.
It is fluid. Good work. All right.
So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about, you kind of alluded to with a couple of comments there. How about the Luso tournament?
How about that Luso tournament, Scott?
That was fun to call. It seemed like we were there multiple days, and it seemed like every game was a great game.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned a couple girls that may have been on the all-tournament team, and Ray's going to bring that up. And that's kind of how it finished up. Webster Groves, of course, in the championship over Fort Zumwalt West. Washington beat Lutheran South in overtime in the third-place game. Union beat Parkway Central for 5th. And then Herculaneum came up, good experience over there for them. and I think that's starting to show up now, but they haven't been at full strength until maybe just now again, and they got 7th place with that win over Jennings. And there's your alternate team, Maupin, who we chose, who we just talked about a little bit. Oops. Let me stop myself right there and keep going. All right. She was the MVP of the tournament. Jenna Clark, the shooter, and you can read the names there.
It seems like those top ones are all Webster Groves.
Yeah, they're just kind of organized by team there. So, 4 Webster Groves players on the alternate team at Lutheran South.
But look at that. I mean, you could run those first 4 down, and that could start against 5 players on a lot of teams.
That's probably true, Scott. But Busher and Seco from Lutheran South made that alternate team. So that was fun covering that week.
Yep.
All right, moving on. And so we did spend a lot of time in the top 10, but we want to also talk about quickly the Jca standings. And Ray's going to bring those up for us. And so, again, we mentioned, here's the small. The big game the other night, Herculaneum Lady Black Cats.
Wait. Who's on top?
Well, 2 teams, but I guess if you're talking about which way is it sorted,
it's
Scott,
sorted by their overall record.
Grandview, who is 9-3, and Coach Winkler's doing a wonderful job over there. We're going to talk more about them in a minute.
Eagles rule.
There you go. But Herky Lady Black Cats, big win Friday night, now tied with Grandview. That matchup is not for a few more weeks. However, St. Pius, yes, they lost, but they have a chance to tie things back up with Grandview tomorrow night at Grandview. Big girls matchup on the small side. See Crystal City, 7-7, has not played a league game yet. Jefferson, tough year, 3-11. I don't think that record's complete for St. Vincent, but they are 1-1 in conference so far. All right, to the large school girls. There it is. We teased it earlier. Thursday night in Festus, Missouri. Perryville, 3-0, comes to Festus, 3-1 in the league. Festus has a chance to take over the lead.
Cue the dramatic music. And don't play that marching music again. Don't do it.
Dramatic music?
I see Ray wheels turning over there.
You want dramatic music?
Well, yeah, when you've got a marquee matchup like that.
Okay, hold
This
on.
feels like Transformers or Game of Thrones coming here. That's pretty dramatic, but
Okay,
we'll get a shot of Scott dancing in a minute. Anyway, there are the league standings in the JCAA, and things are heating up here in mid-January. Okay, Scott, I think you now, I was so excited about this Player of the Week on the girls' side. I almost gave it away, but it's your turn, man.
All right, this was a wow, kapow. So the ladies' Player of the Week. If you paid any attention to the Luso tournament, you probably were like us and your jaw was dropping. This young lady was such a fabulous athlete to watch. Talking about Eliza Maupin for Webster Groves. It says here that she's a K-State commit.
Yeah.
State championship in high jump. And then she's also on a roster with Nittinger and Palisek. It says she herself was All-State last year in their Final Four team.
Yeah,
so
Ellie Palisek was, yeah.
But just the eye test, watching her play, so smooth and so finished, she is definitely going to have a great time at the next level, which should be a book.
Somebody should write a book about that. Oh, we did.
We.
It's a team effort, guys. I don't care who gets the credit, as long as we're helping kids, right?
Exactly.
Hey, going back to Maupin real quick, Kansas State, that's big time. And Mizzou, I'm not going to question Coach Pinston at Mizzou and her recruiting decisions. Been nice to see her maybe stop in Como on the way to Manhattan, Kansas.
Maybe she just got beat out. Maybe they just enticed her more. Who knows?
Maybe. You can do that NIL stuff now. Who knows what they gave her? No, Maupin's a great player, and it's going to be fun to watch her at the next level, as well as all these other players. Nittinger is going to play at Eastern Michigan basketball, I believe, and then Pelusik, we've talked about several times, is going to play soccer at SLU, and on and on and on. Just a embarrassment of riches there for Coach Spool, who's a great coach as well in his own right. Congratulations to Eliza Maupin, our second ever girls fast break Player of the Week.
Lee, are these seats heated?
No, is your seat hot?
Mine's not.
Well,
but I feel like some of these could be heated.
I hope the seat to my right, your left, is really, really hot because it has Riley Blair sitting in it, the coach of the Herculaneum Lady Black Cats. And Coach Blair, I'm really glad to have you. I'm gonna embarrass you too a little bit here. This is your 12th year as head coach at Herculaneum. You have 171 wins under your belt and those 12 wins. That is very impressive, my friend. And you've won 3 conference titles in the JCA, a really tough, girls basketball conference with St. Pius in it, with some of the teams that the other Jefferson and others have had over the years. You've done a great job building that program, and we're really excited to have you on Fast Break.
Well, I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me here. It's been a process, and as you would know as a coach, it's a process to build a program, and it takes some time and takes a lot of energy and effort from multiple people. You can't just do it yourself, and that's one thing that I've been very fortunate to have a phenomenal coaching staff along the way with me, and I think that's what makes our program go is our coaching staff, and we get the kids to buy into what we're trying to do, and I think that's a huge asset.
Well, we were there Friday. Mm-hmm. Your team's been going through a lot of adversity lately. Yeah. Injuries, illness, just all kinds of things. And somehow, some way, your team is down, I think, 14 at one point in time in that game. Mm-hmm. And they just hung together. And I got a peek at your game plan pregame because, again, your coach is doing a really good job of helping with that and sharing that information with us just before the game time so we can kind of look and see. You stuck with the game plan the whole way.
Yeah.
And never lost faith in it. And all of a sudden, the game started to turn. But the ups and downs of that. Tell us about the last couple of weeks for your program.
Well, it's been a battle. We were shorthanded on the Lutheran South tournament. We were without really 2 of our starters at that point, but our leading scorer in Macy Pilliard, and she was out that whole entire week. And so, we had to face a little bit of adversity, and taking 20 points off the floor, put 3 or 4 games there in a row is tough because the kids have to now have a new role, and we talk about doing your role, and when that role has to be changed midway through because your best player walks off the floor or, is injured or is sickness. So I think it's just the biggest thing about it is I think our kids have now started to find a way to understand that their roles are important and to the success that we're going to have hopefully here coming up.
If you talk about just Pilliard in particular, I think Friday night what I saw is players that had to step up in her absence, made big plays on Friday night, Maddie Deering and Emily Grijala.
Yes, both of those two, Emily Grijala has kind of stepped into that role. She's another 6-foot girl that, I can think does a lot of great things. She really stepped up in the Lutheran South tournament for us, gave us some really quality minutes, and Maddie Deering's just a tough-nosed kid. She's going to get down there and grind with everybody in the post. She doesn't have necessarily the size that Emily and Macy have, but she's got the grit inside of there, and I think that says a lot. She really came through late in the game on Friday night for sure.
How good was it to see the lid come off the basket for Kristen Britton?
Kirsten's done some phenomenal things. She's got a beautiful shot, and she just has not been able to find a way to put the ball in the hole. And so, to see her come up in that fourth quarter, I know she's been struggling from the field, but when she took those shots, you could see in her eyes, this is it right here. It's going in, and that's what we've been telling them. Hey, keep shooting, shoot or shoot, and regardless if it's going in at some point, it's going to go in, and I think that was the biggest thing. The key factor of the whole night was I think our kids built that confidence that we've been asking them to try to believe in, and I think it finally hit it on Friday night, and I hope that's a good sign for us moving forward.
Yeah, and that tough early schedule with or without your full complement of players has really prepared you. Now you're getting into the meat of the conference and all that. And real quick, the conference outlook, and I'm not sure if we can bring the small girls back up, Ray, real quick, but just where do you stand and what do you think you need to do to win your 3rd conference title in a row this year?
Well, first of all, it's hard to play on the road. It is definitely hard to play on the road no matter who you're playing, no matter if the team's 0-4 or basically 4-0. It doesn't matter. So, we're going to have to take care of business, night in and night out, because we're going to get everybody's best effort. I promise you that. Just because everybody wants to knock off the 2-time conference champion.
You're wearing the belt right now.
Yeah. So I tell our kids that every time we step on the floor. These teams are going to want to beat us. They want to be the spoiler. They want to be the team that spoils that three-peat. So, I think that's the biggest thing is going into the game with a plan, most importantly, but executing that plan regardless of who your opponent is. I think that's the common thing that we try to teach our kids is, don't worry about what your opponent's doing. You need to worry about what we're doing to execute what we want to do to beat that opponent. And so I think that's the big thing for us. I think if we can take care of business the next conference game, that we have, I think that's next Friday night against R7. That's the common goal, is just to take care of that one and worry about what happens on down the road next game.
Beautiful. All right, Scott.
First of all, Coach Blair, big fan of yours through live stream. I still got to kind of know you a little bit and hang around you a little bit. Is there an update on Sammy Maddox?
Sammy, I think we'll be sitting out a couple games here. Just kind of a concussion protocol. And I definitely know that we'll be definitely missing her this week for sure. But she's another gritty, tough kid that just really, I thought, to me, was the spark for us late in the third quarter Friday night. Defensively, did a phenomenal job of just kind of running through some passes and being able to get some steals and kind of built that momentum for us, and took a couple big hits. One of them down on the other end in front of you guys, I believe, and then the one over underneath the basket going up for a shot, and then was able to stay in the game and hit the free throws even though she was pretty much down and hurt.
Wobbly.
That's one thing that I hope we will get her back after this week and healthy, and hopefully we'll be ready to go.
Okay, great. In that same vein, you seem to have such a natural, more than a coach relationship. You have almost like a fatherly kind of family relationship with your team. You want to talk about that team bonding that you kind of have?
Well, we try to focus a little bit on, that togetherness kind of concept, and we do a lot of team building events, things that I feel like not only just helps them at the basketball level, but it helps them with adversity when you're moving out and you're into the real world. I keep telling these girls all the time that there's more to just the game of basketball. That I'm trying to teach you. I'm trying to teach you about life lessons, and I know I heard him talk about that. To me, that's why we're here. We just get a bonus to play basketball. I think as far as a coach goes, I think the most important thing is teaching life lessons and how to handle adversity, how to handle, when things don't go your way. What do? You just shut off and turn it away, or, you can't do that. So the team bonding thing is to get them kids to understand that they did trust each other, be a part of what each other likes to do, know each other's habits, know each other's strengths, weaknesses, vice versa.
Any of them like trivia?
Yeah, trivia. Yeah.
Maybe there's an event where they could all get together for a trivia night soon.
There is. This Saturday night, 22nd, we'll be doing our Hoopsters Trivia Night. Nice. Live streams Jeff Whitner is the host of that, and nice. So if you're looking for something fun to do Saturday, 22nd, come on out. Mississippi Eagles there in Crystal City. We'd love to have you out there for a fun night of trivia.
All right, sounds good. Lee?
Okay, I want to bring up your district, and then Scott's going to ask you a final question about what's coming up. But let's kind of take a look at the district. You are in Class 4, District 2, if I have that correct. And Ray, we should have that graphic. But, what about, again, I love what you said about take it day by day, practice by practice, game by game. What about right now here in the middle of January about positioning yourself? What are you trying to achieve maybe within the district? Winning a conference title is huge. It means a lot. Winning a district ultimately would be big too, but there's some pretty stiff competition in that district, let's be honest. And I know you gave Notre Dame, who's going to be a higher seed in this district, a really good game earlier in the year. And Central maybe not as quite what they were last year. They're still pretty good, don't get me wrong. Where are you trying to maybe position yourself this season in C4 D2?
I think the big thing is we did add, since we lost the game in the Lutheran South term, we were able to add another game. So we picked up Notre Dame again.
Cool.
We're going to play them on the 25th of January at their place. It's a varsity-only contest. So that'll be a big game with district complications in line. So, yep. I kind of see us along that, depending on the outcome of that game and maybe a couple others. We could be anywhere from a 2 to a 5 probably. We were able to beat St. John earlier in the year, so, nice. At least that's a common opponent that we have. I kind of see us in that range. I mean, I think you got to take a look at Park Hills as the favorite for the one. Coach Mapes does a phenomenal job down there of just rebuilding every year. I mean, they lost a lot of great kids last year off that district championship team, and they're going to be probably the front runner for that 1 seed. But Tosi's another phenomenal basketball team. Fredericktown's pretty solid as well, and Notre Dame's another great team. I mean, you can't put it past St. John. I mean, St. John's always been a powerhouse. And then you got Hancock in that mix. So I just think it's a tough district for us.
It's not top heavy this year. It's really deep though.
It is. And I think, like you said, in any given night, 1 through probably 5 or 6 could probably win it. So I think that's it. I told our kids, we're going to have to come to play, but I think if we can execute what we want to do, we could have a chance to win that thing.
All right, Scott.
All right, real quick, Coach. I know Lee brought up in our first show, getting to that 20-win threshold. You had a season in 2017-2018 where your girls and you went 22-4. Can you talk about how special your team has to be and, how small your room for error is to get to that plateau?
It is very difficult. That was one of the things that year, those kids in that class had been playing together since 3rd grade. And, they knew each other. I mean, they knew every single thing about each other. And to me, that was kind of one of the special things about, building a program and starting those kids at a young level. And I think that's kind of the reason why our success has had in the past few years is because of that. But when you look at trying to win a 20-win season, first of all, it's not easy. And then second of all, I mean, our schedule is not a piece of cake. We challenge our kids, and I think to me that's what I like to see happen. I like to see our kids challenged throughout the entire year, because when you face adversity early, you learn from it, you figure out how you can handle it, fix it, and move on. Because at the end of the postseason time, you're going to have to hit some quality basketball teams to have success. So if you want to win a district title, you can't just walk in and think that you're 22-4 and you're going to win it. So I think I challenge our kids a little bit with our schedule, just to try to handle them to help them down the road when we have that tough schedule. But that year, like I said, you don't have room for error as far as that goes. But those kids have been playing together so long. I think that was kind of the key factor in that whole thing.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. I just want to say, I want to tell a really quick story, and then we're going to let Coach Blair go. But about 10 years ago, I didn't know you at that time, never met you, and we have a mutual friend. I won't say who it is, but you know who I'm talking about as soon as I tell you who it is, or tell this story. And so we would talk on the phone. He got my number somehow, because he'll talk to you for 2-3 hours at a time. Anyway, he kept going on about this guy, Riley Blair at Herculaneum. And I'm like, does he coach the boys? I'm coaching boys. No, he coaches girls. And he's the best coach. And he does this and he does that. And I'm like, okay, sounds great. Would always talk about you. Well, now here in the last 4 or 5 years, I've gotten to know you. And I'm proud to call you a friend. But everything that guy told me about you is true and then some. We are really glad to have Coach Riley Blair here. On the Fast Break show, you're wearing your Coach's Box shirt. Just mesmerized by it, but yeah, you're great.
That was from the host live stream guy, Ray. There,
yes, absolutely
he took care of that for us. So
awesome. Well, Fast Break is glad to have Riley Blair here. Thank you for joining us tonight. We wish you well in your upcoming games and look forward to seeing how you're doing it. And we'll be covering you down the line.
Hey, appreciate it, guys, and thanks for having me here.
All right, Coach Blair. And that is girls basketball. We got a wrap on that, and now we are going to break. But please do not go away. We have a lot of exciting things coming your way. Trivia, a book giveaway, Coachonomics, and more when Fast Break returns.
Brought to you by Missouri Mavericks Basketball, a youth travel organization that provides a platform to develop, connect, and succeed. Tryouts for the 2022 teams are coming soon. Visit www.momavs.org to register online. Missouri Mavericks Basketball, the gold standard in travel hoops.
Hey Jalen, check this out. says right here, your father and I are second cousins. We're related.
Well, if that's the case, you owe me a graduation present.
Very funny.
At least you can say you're related to an all-conference and all-district baseball player. How does that feel?
I will admit, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Hey, Jalen.
Yeah?
At least you could say you're related to a famous sports media person. What's that like?
I wouldn't know. But I do know to watch the Main Street Sports Show on Livestream STL.
The Main Street Sports Show, shining a light in Jefferson County.
Very funny.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all
I appreciate
sports.
that.
You know, I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports, even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key.
Value. Let's talk about value right now. We here at Livestream STL believe that value is key to keeping our community at a high level. Do us a huge favor today. Talk to your athletic director about the value that Livestream STL brings to your school. Talk to your superintendents as well. Let them know that you want Livestream STL in your schools because we bring high levels of value back to your kids. Thanks again for watching the broadcast.
All right, and welcome to segment number 3, which we call Quick Hitters. And before we get to our next level recruiting tip, let's start with our trivia question for the night. And if you will text in to Ray, we are giving away a signed copy of Next Level right here, signed by the author himself, the professor of Coachonomics, Lee Richardson. So this is our trivia question. Which Lutheran South girls basketball player was named All-State in Class 3 in both 2019 and 2020? And the answer is going to be given at the end of the show. So, again, there's the text line, 314-852-4398. So text in your answers now, and you could win that free copy of Next Level signed by the professor of Coachonomics. Coach?
All right, thank you. And we have a retraction. We do not want to be accused of spreading fake news, but during the break, we found out the young lady from Sykeston has actually committed to Western Kentucky, not SIUE, who I think maybe was in the running at one point in time, but thank you for that correction, and kudos to her. That's another big-time Division I player that we've got to see this year. But, yeah, speaking of recruiting, the Next Level recruiting tip of the week, okay? So this week we're going to talk about the time factor. And the time factor just simply talks about where you're at in your high school career and what you need to be thinking about, okay? So if you're a freshman or sophomore, if you read my book, you're going to see all the things you need to be doing. And you don't have to read my book to get that either, but it does have some of this information in it, obviously. But you have lots of time, but you got to get working as a freshman. Don't think because you're a freshman, I have all the time in the world, because those high school careers go by really fast. If you're a junior, it's go time. You really got to be hitting the pavement. You got to be going to camps. You got to be putting yourself in front of coaches. You got to be doing the work in the off season so that you shine as a junior and senior, when it's probably most important anyway. And also remember how competitive things have gotten. If you're a senior, it's not too late. Keep visiting. Look for walk-on opportunities. But it is a little tougher here in 2022 because of the extra year of eligibility due to COVID that they granted, due to all the transfers. They've now made all transfers exempt, and this is filtered down even to the NAIA and D3 levels, where bigger school players are filtering down. Having said all that, if you have that dream of playing college basketball, it is not too late. but you really got to get working, and you got to be open to a lot of different opportunities and network with as many people as you can who can help you with that effort. And that, the time factor, is our next level book recruiting tip of the week.
And you could probably combine that with the mic and drill and send a video of them doing the mic and drill.
That might help. That might help. The mic and 25. We talked about, but that was Coachonomics, remember?
Just throwing that out.
Yep. Okay.
It is now time.
Oh, boy. This is the one we've all been waiting for.
It is now time for the Hoops Whisperer with Scott, the Freak, Lotta. Scott, we're going to kick it over to you. And you have a Hoops Whisperer moment.
I do. And this is just kind of one of those things that makes you go, I believe that was like an old pop song. Anyway. So, you know how they, most of the time, they play hockey in an enclosed arena, just like basketball?
Yeah.
What if they did a featured game or games of basketball, but they played them outside? Perhaps they could call it the Schoolyard Classic. Could you imagine seeing all your favorite players out there shooting the ball, and then a big gust of wind takes their shot and air ball? Or all of a sudden, it becomes overcast. Or maybe it's sunny and you go for a jumper and you've got the sun in your eyes. I'm just saying, that could be interesting, Coach. The Schoolyard Classic.
The Hoops Whisperer, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I have questions. I have questions. What if little Johnny scrapes his knee, Scott?
Rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt? Okay. That's what they used to tell him. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, if your plan,
you should probably make sure you clean it out real good afterwards, because that could get infected.
True. And if your plan happens, I'm gonna call my stockbroker and put 1 million shares in back team.
He'll be here all week, folks. Don't
the
forget
Hoops
to tip your waitress.
What a great job, Scott. That was a wonderful first effort. If you stuck around for that, that was worth the price of admission very much. Okay. Thank you, Scott. Moving on. We're going to go to the quick Coachonomics 101 Class of the Week.
13 plus 1.
13 plus 1. What does that mean? I can only count to 5, and I told my players you only need to count to 5 to play basketball. But 13 plus 1, I think, is 14. Ray brought it up on the monitor. Okay, here's what we're doing in Coachonomics 101 this week. I'm going to give you coaches out there, future coaches out there, whoever just likes the X's and O's of basketball. I'm going to give you the best man-to-man, out-of-bounds play of all time. I got to give credit where credit is due. It used to be called Box V. I got it from Coach Tim Cool of Chillicothe. He's like a legend. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but he will be in Missouri high school basketball. But I changed the name because of the numbers of the way the players were numbered to 14. So I drew this up on my coaching board the other day. There's just two photos. Here's how you set up 14 or Box V. 5 and 4 are in front of the inbounder. Number 3, you can see circled down there. 2 and 1 on the other side. As the ball is handed into 3, 5 will cut really, really hard to the corner and take the big guarding them with them. 2 will cut hard above their defender towards right in front of where 3 is, like they want the basketball. 4 is going to wait. 4 is going to wait because 1 is going to fake cut right towards number 3, taking the ball out of bounds, and yell, ball, ball, ball. And then they're going to break that cutoff after just a step or two and set a back screen on 4's defender, X4 I have there on that first frame, okay? But the important thing there is to wait. Here's the second one. You can see now we've cleared out the entire backside of the rim for 4. If 1 sets any kind of a screen or gets any kind of traffic in there and sold it with their cut, 4 is going to be wide open for a layup. 3 needs to throw a little bounce pass, fake high at 2, and then throw a little bounce pass to 4, and you're going to get a layup off of that. We got a lot of points off of this in my career, and I think we have a video showing just one time it happened, and we don't have the video. Okay, we'll post that later, but that's a very simple play. Play the show back, screenshot those. 14, you'll get a bucket every time against man-to-man defense.
So that won't work against like a box and one?
That will probably not work against a box and one or any kind of zone, Scott. If you know your opponent is playing man-to-man, throw 14 out there. You can hit it once a game for an easy layup.
All right.
Coachonomics 101.
Ray, what's our schedule look like coming up?
It's upcoming broadcast schedule time.
Upcoming broadcast time.
Oh, we have some good games coming up.
Throw a little music behind the.
I think we got games like every day this week.
Yeah,
we do have every day this week. So here we go. We're going to start off right in the backyard of Scott the Freak Lotta, St. Pius X and Grandview at 6:45. The girls' action.
Okay, so real quick comment on each one of these. So that's a big one coming off of Herculaneum's win over St. Pius. St. Pius girls need to get a win, and Grandview's tough this year.
There you go. Tuesday, I'm looking forward to the next 4 nights actually here after this. Tuesday, boys action. Miller Career Academy taking on Festus. 7:15 will be our pregame. So that will be a very, very, I would say, high-octane game. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's going to be a great game. Miller Career's getting votes in Class 4. If Festus wins that, I think they should be getting votes in Class 5.
There you go. Definitely a good bar game right there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Wednesday, boys action again. The big one here. Carnahan and DeBerg. We just had Coach Darian Head on here, and we're gonna get a full game in, I promise, on this one.
It's going to be a great one. Scott, you'll be with me Wednesday night?
I will be.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. Can't wait to see it.
6:15 on the start there for our pregame. And Thursday, girls action for the JCAA Large Championship, I would imagine.
Lead.
For the lead.
Probably,
right
now.
Probably
Remember, they go around twice.
Foreshadowing is what you're going for.
Okay. So girls action, Perryville and Festus, 6:45.
Big game.
And then we wrap up everything with going back out to Lutheran South. The Lady Lancers take on John Burroughs.
The Fighting Elix.
5:15. That's an early start, just so we know. So we can get done and maybe go grab a bite to eat, everybody.
Can you send me a text so I don't show up at Festus looking for you guys?
Okay.
Been known to do that.
There you go. And if you're interested in sponsoring with us here at Livestream STL, you can sponsor with us here, 314-852-4398 or Livestream STL at Outlook.com. Sponsor with us. We are looking for some extra sponsors here, real kind of light on some sponsorships. And by the way, we want to thank Missouri Mavericks basketball, by the way. They're I'm going to throw that up there real quick. There you go, Coach. The Missouri Mavericks basketball hat there. And great sponsors, great folks over there. They're an AAU team, correct?
Yeah, I used to coach with the program. That's why I have the hat. And so Alex has picked it up where Mark McLaughlin left off a few years ago and done a great job. Great developmental AAU basketball program.
There you have it, and there you are. And one last thing, maybe one or two last things here real quick. Let me get to the graphics here. We have a brand new thing going on with our TKDS Sports Network app for Roku, Fire TV, and on the mobile apps for Android and for the iPhone. So check it out. First off, what we want you to do, we want you to download the TKDS Sports Network right here. You can do that on Google Play, on the App Store for iPhone, out there on your Roku, out there on Fire TV, and then subscribe to livestreamstl.tkdsports.com. I'm going to also throw in there, we have special pricing coming up. Everybody say, ooh. Ooh. Thank you. Appreciate that. There it is. Special pricing for the rest of the season.
Wow.
It's $40. It's normally $30 a month. $40, and that's for basically about 2 straight months here. So check that out. You'll have to go back over here to livestreamstl.tkdsports.com/special-pricing. So if you're interested in getting our TKDS Sports app, it has all of our games on it. There's actually games from all over the U.S. So you have folks from Dayton, Ohio. You've got folks from Alabama, and I could go on and mention a bunch. But check that out. But you also have 3 channels for Livestream STL. The blue channel, the orange channel, and then also the Livestream STL channel for Lutheran South. So you have to check that out again. So download the app right there. Then that's what the icon looks like right there. And then go to livestreamstl.tkdssports.com/special-pricing, and you'll get that for $40, which is a pretty good doggone good deal, because that's like less than $1 a day. I did the math.
All right.
I understood the assignment.
Awesome deal.
How about that? And there's one little thing in there also under that special pricing. If you want the app for a full year, there's a discount for that too, and it's so low I can't even mention it. So go check it out there. One last time, livestreamstl.tkdssports.com/special-pricing. You'll go to that, and you'll see the special pricing for a year. Our next show, January 30th, 7 o'clock, right back here, and we will have guests and new segments coming up. And that's all I have for that. We're going to bring it right back over to you there, Professor of Coachonomics.
Well, I'm going to kick it over. Remember, we have some very important business to take care of.
Yes.
Before we leave.
Yes.
We need our trivia answer, Scott Latta.
Yes.
All right, if you want to put the question back up there, the trivia question for a signed copy of Next Level by Lee Richardson. So, for that signed copy, which Lutheran South girls basketball player was named All-State in Class 3 in both 2019 and 2020? The answer is, of course, number 5, Emma Paulitz. I knew this one. I didn't even have to Google this one. I knew this one.
I knew that one too, and I was like, well, it absolutely has to be Emma Paulitz.
So was the winner Jen Belitz?
The winner, you're not going to believe who the winner is.
Gwen Feelick. Just kidding. Ben Ely.
No, it's not Ben Ely.
Yeah.
It is actually Kyle Bohr.
Oh.
Kyle Bohr got it right.
He does his homework. It doesn't matter the program.
There it is. I got it. So there you go. Kyle Bohr, you are our winner. I'll send that home with Coach Blair, and he's actually right behind me
photobombing you right over there.
He's right behind me there. So probably putting weird ears. But there it is, the Next Level book. And so Kyle Bohr, you are our winner. And final thoughts as we take out of here, Coach Richardson.
Yep, Scott, Ray, great show. I think it's 50-50, but I think we had our best show yet.
Oh,
out of
definitely.
2. Okay. And someone told me the other day we are the #1 rated high school hoop show in our time slot on Sunday evenings in the St. Louis area.
Dude, we got that shake and bake.
It might be the only high school hoop show, but we hope you enjoyed it. We brought you 2 great interviews and some cool stories, and it's just going to get better from here. Thank you for joining us. I do want to give one quick shout-out before we leave to my wife, Amy, celebrating her 29th birthday here with us tonight.
Doesn't look a day over 28.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it. So thank you for joining us on Fast Break.
And
we will
join us
see
next
you
time.
in 2 weeks. What we got, partner?